wonderful to be with you this morning. The video that you just saw captures the historical events of November 2nd, 2011. Um, as many of you probably know, I am a longshoreman, third generation longshoreman, past Secretary of Treasury, but today I'm speaking to you as the co-chair of the Million Worker March movement. The Million Worker March was initiated by ILWU Local 10, the only predominantly people of color local on the West Coast. Yes, let me underscore that we are the only predominantly African American local on the West Coast. It is important to understand the historical links to the black community and the ILWU because in 1934 there was a West Coast strike. This strike shut down all of the ports on the West Coast for longshoremen to have the right to a hiring hall and collective bargaining. The black community was not welcome on the waterfront in 1934, and as a result of that, were used as scab breakers to break strikes. If it were not for the class analysis of people like Harry Bridges and other leftists of the rank and file of the longshore movement in 1934, the strike would have never succeeded. Bridges went to black churches and appealed to the black community to join the picket line. And in exchange for that, blacks would be included in the union. Bridges understood the importance of black and white working class solidarity because discrimination is a tool of the bosses. The ILWU has been in the vanguard of the entire labor movement in the struggle for economic and social justice. One of the reasons for this is because of the fact that our union was conceived in struggle. On 4 separate occasions, Harry Bridges was brought up on charges by the United States government in an effort to deport him for either being a member of the Communist Party or an illegal alien. The union was able to prevail, and Bridges was allowed to stay in the country, but not before establishing for all of the American working class a presence of militancy and rank and file leadership. I just wanted to make very clear that the actions taken on November 2nd, shutting down the 5th largest port in the entire country, was initiated by the Occupy Oakland movement. The last general strike in the Bay Area was in 1946, and that took place in the city of Oakland. The call for a general strike was made in response to the violent attack on the encampment in the city of Oakland, as well as the serious injury received by Scott Olson, who was hit in the head by a tear gas canister by the local police department. In only 1 week's time, tens of thousands of people came to the city of Oakland to shut down the city and the 5th largest port in the United States. One of the reasons why the port of Oakland was selected was because the ILWU is now engaged in a major struggle with a company named EGT in the Pacific Northwest. EGT represents an international grain consortium that exports grain to Asia. Made $2.5 billion in profits in 2010. Its stock is traded on Wall Street, and it is the face of Wall Street at the West Coast ports that is challenging the jurisdiction of the ILWU. One of the important things for people to understand about the November 2nd shutdown and the call for the December 12th shutdown is that this is the first time in American history that working people, the community, and not the ILWU are proposing a port shutdown. The ports on the West Coast are not privately owned. They're owned by the people. And they have every right to come there to protest. The leadership of the ILWU has been communicating to the public that it has no involvement in this struggle. The leadership says that. The rank and file does not have that same belief. Longshoremen and their families in Longview have been putting up a fight against EGT. They have faced pepper spray. They have faced police batons and brutality. They have faced the power of the state representing EGT. The local in Longview, ILWU Local 21, has acknowledged the action of the Occupy Oakland movement for November 2nd. I'm going to wind it up right now by saying this, that on December 12th, there is going to be a mass mobilization at all ports, major ports on the West Coast. The ILWU has always honored community picket lines. It is very difficult to predict what's going to happen on December 12th because these are revolutionary mobilizations that are going to take place. No one can predict what is going to happen. No one could predict that tens of thousands of people would show up at the 5th largest port in the United States on November 2nd. There is a tremendous amount of pressure being mounted to stop this mobilization. The world will be watching. An injury to one is an injury to all.
The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated.
Are there any questions for Clarence? Josie.
Getting back to the demonstration that's going to be on December 12th, is SEIU up in San Francisco be part of that group of local?
Esa manifestación que va a suceder el 12 de diciembre, SEIU en San Francisco participará.
Yes. And let me also add that on November the 2nd, SEIU Local 1021 was able to get all of its city workers not to go to work on November 2nd.
You have an idea of how much did it cost the city financially for the closing of the port, and can you tell me what to expect for December 12th?
First of all, that's a very good question. And it is an answer that we have not been able to get from the port for obvious reasons. But let me just say this, that we know that not only was shipping on the Pacific Coast disrupted, but so was trucking schedules, and so was train schedules. Companies like Home Depot, Target, and Walmart all do business at the Port of Oakland. Their just-in-time delivery process schedules was disrupted. The reason why the Port of Oakland has not given any financial impact of that day is because they're trying to take away some of the significance of the impact of the people's victory that day. But now it appears as if there's going to be a second action, this time up and down the coast at all 29 ports. People in other parts of the country will be able to learn a very important lesson. And that is, if we want change, you don't get change by having rallies and marches. You make change by striking the capitalists in the pocketbook.